Daniel lived in a small countryside town where life was always quiet. The people knew each other well, the streets were calm, and nights were filled with the soft sound of crickets. Daniel often enjoyed walking home after his late shift at the town library. He liked the silence of the night sky, the way the stars looked brighter in the countryside, and how the cool air helped him clear his mind. He never expected anything unusual to happen in his ordinary life. But one night, everything changed. It was close to midnight when he locked the library doors and started his usual walk home. The road was empty, and the fields on both sides stretched far into the dark. Daniel tilted his head back, watching the stars, when he suddenly noticed something strange. At first he thought it was a falling star. A small glowing light was moving quickly across the sky, leaving a faint trail behind. But instead of vanishing like a shooting star, the light grew brighter and brighter. Daniel stopped walking, his heart beating fast as the light slowed down and seemed to descend. He rubbed his eyes, thinking it might just be his imagination. Maybe it was an airplane or some kind of new drone. But this was different. The light was too sharp, too alive. It hovered in the sky for a moment, then came lower until it disappeared behind the trees in a nearby field. The ground gave a faint tremor, and Daniel felt the vibration beneath his shoes. His first instinct was to run home. Who wouldn't? Something unknown had just landed in his quiet town, but his curiosity was stronger than his fear. Daniel hesitated for a while, then slowly made his way toward the glowing field. As he got closer, he could see the faint shimmer of light through the tall grass. His heart raced with both fear and excitement. When he reached the edge of the field, he stopped again, hiding behind a tree. What he saw made his breath catch. In the middle of the field stood a shining craft, shaped like nothing he had ever seen before. It wasn't large like the spaceships shown in movies. It was elegant, with smooth curves and a faint blue glow running along its surface. The air around it seemed to hum softly, like a tune just out of reach. Daniel felt his knees weaken. This was no airplane. No machine from Earth looked like that. He knew what he was seeing, even though his mind struggled to accept it. An alien craft had landed. Before he could decide whether to stay or run, a soft hiss came from the craft. A panel opened, and light spilled onto the grass. A tall figure stepped out. Daniel froze, his eyes wide. It was a woman, or at least she looked like one. She was taller than him, her body graceful, and her skin had a faint glow as if the moonlight lived inside her. Her eyes shone like two stars, bright and intense, unlike any human eyes he had ever seen. Her hair flowed down her shoulders, shimmering with colors that shifted between silver and blue. Daniel's breath came short. He tried to stay hidden, but somehow she turned her head directly toward him. Her glowing eyes locked on his. He felt as if she could see straight into his soul. His heart hammered in his chest and his body refused to move. The woman stepped forward with calm, confident steps. The grass seemed to bend under her but made no sound. When she was only a few feet away, Daniel finally found his voice. Who are you?" he whispered, his voice trembling. She tilted her head, her lips curving into a faint smile that was both warm and strange at the same time. Her voice, when she spoke, was clear and perfect, as if she had practiced speaking his language all her life. But her words sent chills down his spine. "I have come to conquer your world," she said softly. "But right now I only want you." Daniel's mouth went dry. He did not know whether to laugh, scream, or run. The words sounded unreal, like a dream or a story told in secret. He wanted to believe it was some kind of trick, but deep down, he knew it wasn't. She was real. Her voice was real. The glow in her eyes was real. His mind raced with questions. What did she mean by conquer? What did she mean by want? Why him, of all people? He had no special life, no power, no secret. He was just Daniel, a man who worked in a library, lived alone, and enjoyed quiet walks at night. Yet here he was, standing in front of something beyond imagination. Daniel felt torn between fear and fascination. Every instinct told him to run, but something in her gaze held him still. It wasn't just threatening, there was something deeper in her eyes, something almost gentle. He couldn't explain why, but he felt drawn to her, as if an invisible force kept him there. The night around them seemed to vanish. The stars above felt dim compared to the glow that came from her. Daniel opened his mouth, trying to speak, but no words came out. His thoughts spun like a storm, trying to make sense of the moment. The woman, no, the alien, took one more step closer, and Daniel could see details more clearly now. Her skin looked smooth, but had a faint pattern, like waves, running just beneath the surface. Her eyes were not just glowing, they seemed to hold entire galaxies within them. Her presence was powerful, yet she moved with calm grace like someone who had all the time in the universe. "You are not afraid," she said, studying him closely. Daniel wanted to protest. He was afraid, more afraid than ever in his life, but part of him realized she was right. He wasn't running, he was standing there facing her. I don't understand," he managed to say, his voice weak. "You will," she replied gently, her eyes softening. The silence between them was heavy, filled with questions Daniel couldn't ask yet. All he knew was that his life had changed forever. The woman standing before him wasn't from Earth. She had spoken of conquering his world, yet also of wanting only him right now. It was a puzzle, a mystery that made no sense. And yet, Daniel couldn't move away. Something inside him whispered that whatever happened next, he was meant to see it. The field, the stars, the quiet night. All of it felt like the beginning of something far greater than he could ever imagine. Daniel could not sleep that night. The image of the glowing woman standing in the field kept replaying in his mind. Her words echoed again and again. "I have come to conquer your world, but right now I only want you." He lay in his bed, staring at the ceiling, wondering if it was all a dream. But deep down he knew it was real. The way her eyes had pierced into him, the way the air had hummed around her presence, none of it could be imagined. The next evening, his curiosity was stronger than his fear. He returned to the same field, unsure of what he would find. The grass was still bent from where the strange craft had landed, though the ship itself was gone. For a moment, Daniel thought she had left forever. He felt both relieved and disappointed at the same time. But as he turned to walk back, he saw her standing near the edge of the trees, waiting for him. She stepped out quietly, her silver-blue hair catching the last light of the setting sun. Daniel froze. She gave a small smile, as though she had expected him to come back. "You returned," she said softly. Daniel swallowed hard. I wasn't sure if you'd still be here." "I chose to stay," she replied. "There is much I must see, and much I must learn." Her voice was calm, but there was something curious in her tone, almost eager. Daniel felt a strange mix of fear and fascination. He wanted to ask her 100 questions, but only one came out. "Why me?" The alien woman tilted her head, studying him. "Because you did not run." Her answer was simple, but it sank deep into his mind. She was right. He had been afraid, but he had stayed. She stepped closer, her glowing eyes never leaving his. "You will help me understand this world." Daniel hesitated. "Understand? What do you want to know?" "Everything," she replied. "Your people, your lives, your emotions. I have seen many worlds, but never one like this." Her words surprised him. She didn't sound like someone who wanted to destroy. She sounded more like a traveler, curious about what she had found. Over the next few days, Daniel and the alien woman, who finally told him her name was Serenia, met in secret. Each time she asked him endless questions. She wanted to know about the simplest things: why people laughed, why they cried, why they held hands, why they gathered around tables to eat. She even asked why people painted pictures or listened to music. Daniel tried his best to explain, though often he found himself struggling to put feelings into words. "Some things you can't explain," he told her once as they sat by the river. "You just feel them." Serenia tilted her head thoughtfully. "Feel," she repeated. Strange word. Powerful word. She touched the surface of the water, watching the ripples. Your people live for these feelings. Daniel nodded. Yes. Without them, we wouldn't be human. Serenia looked at him closely then, as though she were trying to read every thought in his mind. For the first time, Daniel felt she wasn't just curious. She was searching for something deeper, something she had never known before. One evening, Daniel took her to the town's small marketplace. He worried someone might notice her unusual glow, but she wore a cloak he had given her, and in the dim lights of the market she looked almost human. Serenia's eyes widened as she saw the stalls filled with fruits, clothes, and handmade crafts. Children ran past, laughing and shouting. The smells of fresh bread and roasted corn filled the air. She paused at one stall where a man was playing a guitar. The sound caught her attention. She stood still, listening, her glowing eyes fixed on the strings. "What is this?" she asked, in awe. "Music," Daniel said, smiling at her reaction. "It's something that makes people feel happy, calm, or sometimes even sad. It speaks to the heart." Serenia closed her eyes for a moment, letting the notes sink into her. When she opened them again, they seemed brighter. "I feel something," she whispered. "Strange, warm. I never knew sound could move the heart." Daniel felt a sudden rush of relief. She wasn't here to hurt anyone, not yet at least. She was learning, changing, opening herself to things she had never known. But deep inside him, a warning echoed. She had said she came to conquer. Could her growing curiosity turn her away from that path? Or was she only studying humans so she could better control them later? Still, he couldn't stop meeting her. Every time they were together, he felt something pulling him closer. He told her stories about his childhood, about books he loved, about the way the town celebrated festivals with lights and laughter. Serenia listened to every word, her face thoughtful, her questions endless. Sometimes she even surprised him by trying human habits. She tasted bread for the first time and tilted her head at the simple flavor. She touched the bark of a tree and said it reminded her of the surface of her homeworld's mountains. She even tried to mimic laughter, though it came out more like a soft melody than a laugh. Daniel found himself smiling more around her than he had in years. But at night, when he was alone, the doubts returned. He remembered her first words, "I have come to conquer your world." He wanted to believe she had changed, but how much could someone really change? She was not human. Her mission was not human. Yet when she looked at him with those glowing eyes, he couldn't help but believe she meant no harm. As the days turned into weeks, Daniel realized something important. He was no longer just curious about Serenia. He was beginning to care for her. It frightened him, but it also filled him with a strange hope. He wondered if she felt the same. Sometimes, when her gaze lingered on him longer than usual, he thought he saw something in her eyes, something soft and unspoken. For now, he pushed the fear away. All he knew was that he wanted to see her again, to hear her questions, to watch her discover the world through fresh eyes. He wanted to believe that, maybe, just maybe, she had not come to destroy but to learn and perhaps to stay. Daniel had started to look forward to every meeting with Serenia. She was no longer just an alien woman who had spoken strange words the night she arrived. She had become part of his days, part of his thoughts, and part of the quiet world he once thought would never change. But with each passing day, he also felt a weight growing heavier inside him. He had not forgotten her first words, that she came to conquer. One evening, as they sat on a hillside looking at the town below, Daniel finally asked what had been burning inside him since the start. "Serenia," he said quietly, "why did you really come here?" She was silent for a long moment. Her glowing eyes followed the lights of the houses in the distance, and when she spoke, her voice was softer than usual. "My world is dying," she said. "Our skies are fading, our seas have dried. My people are searching for a place to survive. Earth is strong, full of life, too full of life to be ignored." Daniel felt a chill run down his back. The way she said it, calm, almost sorrowful, made it sound true, but it also sounded dangerous. So your people want to take this world? Yes, she admitted. Her hands touched the grass, fingers brushing the blades as though she was memorizing the feeling. They sent me here to observe, to report if your planet is suitable. If I tell them it is, they will come. They will not ask permission. They will not wait. Daniel's heart pounded. He had suspected this, but hearing it made his fears real. And have you told them yet? Serenia shook her head slowly. No, I should have, but I have not. Daniel turned to face her, his eyes wide. Why not? She looked at him then, and for the first time he saw something in her eyes that was not just curiosity. It was conflict. It was struggle. Because of you, she whispered. Because of the things you have shown me. Because of the feelings I did not know existed until I met you. Daniel's breath caught. Feelings? She nodded. We do not live like your people. We do not laugh at music. We do not gather at tables. We do not hold hands just to feel warmth. Our lives are only duty, survival, and obedience. But here, with you, I feel something I do not have words for. It pulls me. It changes me. Her words struck him deeply. He could hardly believe that. An alien woman sent to prepare the conquest of Earth was sitting beside him talking about feelings. And yet, the way she looked at him, the softness in her voice, told him it was true. Daniel struggled to find his own words. If your people come here, they'll destroy everything we have. The forests, the rivers, the towns, all the things you say you're learning to love. Do you want that to happen? No, Serenia said quickly. Her voice was sharper now, filled with emotion. I do not want to see this world broken. I do not want to see your people fall. That is why I cannot send the message. Daniel felt relief for a moment, but then the worry returned. But what happens if they find out you're hiding the truth? Won't they come anyway? Serenia looked down. They will not forgive me. If they discover I have betrayed my mission, I will be cast out. Or worse. The silence between them grew heavy. Daniel could hear his own heartbeat, the distant sounds of the town, and the whisper of the wind through the grass. He realized Serenia was caught between two worlds, her duty to her people and the strange new emotions she had found with him. Why me? He asked again, more quietly this time. Out of all the people on this planet, why do you feel this way toward me? Serenia's gaze returned to him. Because you saw me and did not run. Because you spoke to me with fear, but also with kindness. Because you shared your world with me, even when you did not understand me. You showed me the meaning of trust. That is rare, even among humans, I think. Daniel felt warmth spread in his chest. He had never thought of himself as special, but to her he was something different, something new. As the days went on, their bond grew stronger. Serenia still asked questions, but now they were deeper. Why do humans forgive? She asked once as they sat by the river. Why do humans dream about things they cannot reach? Another time she asked, why do humans sacrifice for others? Daniel did his best to answer, though he knew his answers were simple compared to the weight of her questions. Because it's what makes us human, he often said. But every answer seemed to make her more torn inside. Daniel could see it in her eyes, the way she stared at the stars at night, the way she fell silent at unexpected times. She was not only learning about Earth, she was fighting herself, fighting the mission she had been given. One night, as they sat in the quiet field where they first met, Serenia finally confessed the truth. Daniel, I cannot return to my people as I am. If I tell them what I have seen, they will come and take everything. If I lie to them, they will know I have betrayed them. Either way, I will lose. Daniel felt his chest tighten. Then what will you do? She looked at him with a softness he had never seen before. I do not know, but I know this. I do not want to lose you. Her words hung in the air, powerful and fragile. Daniel didn't know what to say. He wanted to promise her safety, but how could he? He wanted to tell her she belonged here, but would Earth ever accept her? He wanted to hold on to her, but he feared what her people might do if they discovered her secret. That night, Daniel lay awake again thinking about her. He realized that his life, once simple and ordinary, was now tangled with something far beyond human understanding. He cared for Serenia more than he wanted to admit, and now he knew she cared for him too. But caring was not enough. Her people were out there waiting, watching, and sooner or later they would want answers. For the first time, Daniel felt the shadow of a choice hanging over both of them, a choice that could decide the fate of not just their bond, but of the whole world. The days passed quickly, but the air around Daniel and Serenia grew heavier. Daniel noticed how Serenia often paused when she looked at the sky, as if expecting something to appear. Her glowing eyes seemed worried at times, even though she tried to hide it. One evening, as they sat under the wide oak tree near the river, Daniel asked, "Are you afraid your people will come looking for you?" Serenia didn't answer right away. She touched the ground with her fingers, her glowing skin casting faint light on the grass. Finally, she said, "Yes, they will not wait forever for my report. They will send others. If they arrive and see what I have not told them, they will know I am hiding something." Daniel's chest tightened. "And if they find you here with me?" Her gaze moved to his face. "Then both of us will be in danger." The words stayed with Daniel long after that night. He began to notice how people in town whispered about strange lights in the sky. A farmer swore he had seen a beam of light near the hills. Children spoke of glowing figures in the forest. The town laughed at the rumors, but Daniel knew they weren't just rumors. Something was coming. One night, the air itself seemed to shiver. Daniel was walking home when he noticed the stars above shift strangely, as though one of them was moving faster than the rest. His stomach dropped. He knew instantly it wasn't a star at all. It was another ship. He ran to the field where he and Serenia had first met, and there she was, standing in the tall grass, her face pale and troubled. The night sky glowed faintly, as a second craft descended silently. Its silver surface shone brighter than the moon, and when it landed, the ground trembled just like before. Serenia turned to Daniel, her eyes filled with both fear and resolve. "They are here." Daniel's mouth went dry. "What will they do?" "They will question me," she said. "They will ask why I have delayed my report. If they see you, they will know I am compromised." Before Daniel could speak, the ship opened with a hiss. Two figures stepped out. They were like Serenia but different, taller, sterner, their glow colder. Their eyes were sharp, almost metallic, and their movements were strict, without the softness Serenia had begun to show. One of them spoke in a language Daniel couldn't understand. Serenia responded in the same tongue, her voice steady. The exchange was fast, the sounds sharp and commanding. Daniel felt out of place, as if he had stumbled into a storm he could never escape. Then one of the figures turned toward him. Its glowing eyes narrowed. A low sound came from its throat, almost like a warning. Serenia stepped between them quickly. "No," she said in Daniel's language, her voice strong. "He is not to be harmed." The figures looked at her with cold suspicion. They spoke again in their strange language, but Serenia's reply was firm, her stance unshaken. Finally, the figures looked at each other, then turned back toward their ship. They moved with chilling silence and disappeared inside. Within moments, the ship lifted back into the sky, vanishing among the stars. Daniel stood frozen. His knees felt weak, his breath shaky. Why did they leave?" he asked. Serenia looked at him with sadness. "Because they do not trust me anymore. They will report back. Others will come, stronger ones. They will not leave so easily next time." Daniel stepped closer. "Then we have to do something. You can't face them alone." Serenia shook her head. "This is my fight, Daniel. My people will not forgive me for choosing differently, but I cannot let them take your world." Her words cut deep into him. Daniel felt torn between fear for himself and admiration for her courage. She was risking everything, not only for him but for the entire planet. In the following days, the town's whispers grew louder. People spoke of sky storms and strange humming sounds at night. Daniel avoided answering questions, but he knew it was only a matter of time before the truth revealed itself. Every time he met Serenia, he saw how heavy the weight on her heart had become. She spent more time staring at the stars, her eyes glowing with both longing and pain. Yet whenever she looked at Daniel, there was warmth as if he was her anchor in a storm. Finally, one night she told him the truth. "Daniel, I must choose soon. If I tell them Earth is weak, they will come. If I tell them Earth is strong, they may still come. But if I refuse to answer, they will know I have betrayed them. Whatever I decide, the danger will fall on me. Perhaps even on you." Daniel took a deep breath. "Then you're not alone in this. Whatever happens, I'll stand with you." Her glowing eyes softened, and for a moment, she looked less like a conqueror and more like someone searching for home. But Daniel knew sooner or later the final decision would come, and it would change everything. The night was darker than usual, the stars hidden behind heavy clouds. Daniel and Serenia stood together in the field, the place where everything had begun. They both knew the moment had arrived. Serenia's people would demand an answer soon, and her silence would no longer protect Earth. She looked up at the sky, her glowing eyes reflecting sadness. "Daniel," she said quietly, "my people are waiting. If I tell them to come, they will take your world. If I refuse, I will be cut off from them forever." Daniel's voice trembled, but he spoke firmly. "Then don't let them take it. You said you've learned to feel here. You've seen what life means to us. Isn't that worth protecting?" Serenia closed her eyes, struggling. "You do not understand. To refuse them is to betray my kind. I will never see my home again. I will never speak to my family again. I will be nothing." Daniel stepped closer. "You will not be nothing. You will be here. You will have me. And maybe, in time, this world will become your home too." Her eyes opened, and tears, soft glowing drops, formed at the corners. For a long moment, she was silent. Then, slowly, she raised her hand and placed it on her chest. A faint device appeared, glowing in her palm. Daniel realized it was her communicator. She held it tightly, her voice steady as she spoke in her language. The words flowed like music, but Daniel could feel the weight in each one. She spoke for a long time, then finally fell silent. The communicator glowed once more, then went dark. When she looked at Daniel, her face was calm, though her eyes shone with quiet pain. "It is done," she said. "I have told them Earth is not for them. I have declared this planet forbidden." Daniel's heart leapt. "Then, they won't come?" Serenia shook her head. "They will not come. But I am no longer one of them. I have severed my bond with my people. I am alone now." Daniel reached out and took her hand. "Not alone," he whispered. "Never alone." The silence of the field wrapped around them. Serenia looked at him, her glowing eyes softer than ever before. "You have changed me, Daniel. I was sent here to take, but instead I have learned to give. I was meant to conquer, but instead I found something stronger than conquest." "What's that?" Daniel asked gently. She smiled faintly. "Love." Daniel's chest tightened, but in the best way. He knew their lives ahead would not be easy. She was not human. The world might never accept her. But in that moment, none of it mattered. All that mattered was that she had chosen Earth, chosen him, chosen something greater than fear or duty. As they stood together beneath the dark sky, Daniel realized his life would never be ordinary again. He had met a woman from the stars, a woman who could have destroyed his world but instead chose to save it. And in that choice she had given him not just hope, but a future.